This is a second part to my book recommendations. I've taken 5 books from my bookshelf, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about them. The first video, I showed you The Answers book, Bones of Contention, and The Hidden History of the Human Race. I have 2 more books to show you, so let's get to it. Darwin's Black Box, The Biochemical Challenge to Evolution by Michael Behe. Behe is an advocate of intelligent design. He's not strictly a creationist. He is probably one of the most well-known figures, proponents of irreducible complexity. This book is about 300 pages long. It's well documented, and I'll read some of the preface. It is commonplace, almost banal, to say that science has made great strides in understanding nature. The laws of physics are now so well understood that space probes fly unerringly to photograph worlds billions of miles from Earth. Computers, telephones, electric lights, and untold other examples testify to the mastery of science and technology over the forces of nature. Vaccines and high-yield crops have stayed the ancient enemies of mankind, disease and hunger, at least in parts of the world. Almost weekly, announcements of discoveries in molecular biology encourage the hope of cures for genetic diseases and more. Yet understanding how something works is not the same as understanding how it came to be. For example, the motions of the planets in the solar system can be predicted with tremendous accuracy. However, the origin of the solar system, the question of how the sun, planets, and their moons formed in the first place, is still controversial. Science may eventually solve the riddle. Still, the point remains that understanding the origin of something is different from understanding its day-to-day workings. Science's mastery of nature has led many people to presume that it can, indeed must, also explain the origin of nature and life. Darwin's proposal that life can be explained by natural selection acting on variation has been overwhelmingly accepted in educated circles for more than a century, even though the basic mechanisms of life remained utterly mysterious until several decades ago. Modern science has learned that ultimately life is a molecular phenomenon. All organisms are made of molecules that act as the nuts and bolts, gears and pulleys of biological systems. Certainly there are complex biological features, such as the circulation of blood, that emerge at higher levels, but the gritty details of life are the province of biomolecules. Therefore, the science of biochemistry, which studies these molecules, has as its mission the exploration of the very foundations of life. Since the mid-1950s, biochemistry has painstakingly elucidated on the workings of life at the molecular level. Darwin was ignorant of the reason for variation within species, one of the requirements of his theory, but biochemistry has identified the molecular basis for it. 19th century science could not even guess at the mechanism of vision, immunity, or movement, but modern biochemistry has identified the molecules that allow these and other functions. It was once accepted that the basis of life would be exceedingly simple. That expectation has been smashed. Vision, motion, and other biological functions have proven to be no less sophisticated than television cameras and automobiles. Science has made enormous progress in understanding how the chemistry of life works, but the elegance and complexity of biological systems at the molecular level have paralyzed science's attempts to explain their origins. Truly no attempt to account for the origin of specific complex biomolecular systems, much less any progress. Many scientists have gamely asserted that explanations are already in hand or will be sooner or later, but no support for such assertions can be found in the professional science literature. More importantly, there are compelling reasons, based on the structure of the science systems themselves, to think that Darwinian explanation for the mechanisms of life will forever prove elusive. Evolution is a flexible word. It can be used by one person to mean something as simple as change over time, or by another person to mean the descent of all life forms from a common ancestor, leaving the mechanism of change unspecified. In its full-throated biological sense, however, evolution means a progress whereby life arose from non-living matter and subsequently developed entirely by natural means. That is the sense that Darwin gave to the word, and the meaning that it holds in the scientific community, and that is the sense in which I will use evolution throughout this book. This book can get a bit technical for a layperson. I recommend at least high school biology before you read this book. Darwin's God, Evolution and the Problem of Evil by Cornelius Hunter. Hunter is a PhD. He is an intelligent design advocate. And I'll read just a little bit of the preface, not nearly as much as the last book. Evolution is more than just a scientific theory, if only because its tremendous influence in areas outside of science. It is probably the most influential idea ever generated by science. From public policy to the pulpit, and in most things in between, one can find influences from evolution. But despite its influence, evolution is not well understood. Over its first 140 years, evolution has undergone a great variety of often opposing descriptions, and these descriptions routinely leave out important details, the shades of gray that we need to understand evolution. For some people, evolution is nothing more than good science. Others say it is bad science. Some say it is a description of reality, a great triumph of Western thought. Others say it is philosophically flawed, relying on either tautological or non-falsifiable ideas. Some say evolution proves materialism, while others say it presupposes materialism. Some say evolution is God's creation tool. Others say it excludes God. To be sure, within evolution's broad boundaries one can find instances of many of these things. But at its core, evolution is none of these things. Evolution is neither atheism in disguise, nor merely science at work. There are shades of gray in the story of evolution, and it is these subtleties that reveal the true essence of evolution. The story of evolution is not simple, but it is important, for we need a better understanding of the most influential idea of our time. This book is a story of evolution, including its scientific and non-scientific aspects. Evolution cannot be fully understood without exploring both aspects, for between them there is considerable overlap and exchange. Scientific reasoning is often beholden to the presuppositions of the day, and this is certainly true for evolution. Hence, this is not a story about science or philosophy or religion, but rather a story of how all these influences come together in Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. What Hunter is trying to convey in this book, which is, by the way, not quite 200 pages, is the philosophical ideas behind evolution, the negative theological arguments behind Darwin's idea, and the negative theological arguments that many evolutionists have today. I recommend this book to creationists very much. So those are some of the books I've been reading in regard to creation and evolution. I recommend all of them to anybody interested in the topic. And I'm also going to extend an invitation for you to recommend books to me. Certainly I don't want you to buy them and send them to me. Just recommend them, and I'll go down to the bookstores, the used bookstore, wherever I can, see if I can't pick those up and read them. I am interested in learning more. It doesn't matter what your viewpoint is. Just tell me what you like and what you think I should read. Thanks.